Hello traders. Now the breakout which occurred in Nifty, I think a few days back, has that failed? I think this is probably everyone is thinking, because we had a pretty much painful consolidation. You can see over here from the time of early May, all right, till the time of early May till probably early July. So this 1.5 month to 2 months of consolidation was painful. Then we had a very good breakout, and the next possible resistance was near the all-time high. But rather than the price moving up, it has decided to come down. Now, yes, the word is real-time frustrating in the markets, but as I always say, market has its own mind. So now in this video, we'll be analyzing that. Has the breakout failed? Are we going to go further down, or we will bounce back from the supports? Let's start the video. Now, as usual, first I will try to look at the monthly time frame chart. I generally do the top-down approach. First we'll do the Nifty and then all of the respective sectoral analysis. So we can see in the Nifty spot chart in the monthly time frame on the far right, the price is in a beautiful uptrend. The momentum is trying to improve. Now coming over here in the second time frame, the middle time frame chart, which is the weekly time frame, trend is up. Momentum is not very strong because it was trying to improve. And there is a small dip over here. Now the question is how far this dip will continue. कितने नीचे तक जा पाएगा Nifty? That is what I think all of us are thinking right now. So I think for that we need to look at the Nifty spot in the daily time frame chart. See, generally in technical analysis, what happens is when prices try to touch a particular zone, a particular level or area for a prolonged period of time, for a few days, weeks, or at times months, automatically that particular zone, that level becomes a support or a resistance. Now in this particular case, market, when it was trying to go up between May and July, this zone between 25,000, somewhere I'll just share with you, 25,130 to 25, I think 240, 250, it was acting as a resistance. Now when market did surpass this on this particular bullish day, 26 June, once this breakout did occur, immediately after that, this particular zone, which was earlier acting as a resistance, now will work as a support. And now we are back at the support. First thing is that. What did we see in the weekly time frame chart? The weekly time frame chart is in an uptrend. Momentum is slipping. The weekly time frame, the monthly time frame chart also looks good. The daily time frame chart is slightly, you can say, it has dipped. The momentum is now on the downside. Trend is also down, but weekly and monthly seems to be fine. And I always believe when you're doing analysis, you should not do analysis on just one time frame. You should have an idea what is happening in the higher time frame charts. So in a bull run, I think many times it will happen that while the market is going up, it will keep having short-term dips. So according to me, yes, it is a short-term dip so far. This is also support 25,130, 25,100, and over here 25,070. This is a 50% retracement. This is also a support, and again over here somewhere in this zone 24,900, just above that, this is also support. Now we need to see how Nifty performs in this zone. The first zone has been penetrated from 25,240 to 25,130. It has been penetrated. We are still trading above 25,130. There is no doubt about that. Now on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, what happens? Do we close below it? Do we sustain? This is still a support band left. So I think we should wait with patience rather than taking random trading decisions. थोड़ा सा wait करना चाहिए. I think by next weekend or in next few days, we'll have a better idea what's going to happen in Nifty. Okay. Now going ahead in the Bank Nifty. See, again, I'll try to go to the monthly time frame chart. In the monthly time frame chart, things are pretty good. The trend is exceptionally strong. The RSI is at RSI 14 is at close to 70. Okay, it has just dipped below 70. Now the main thing is over here. if you remember my previous week's sectoral analysis, weekly sectoral analysis, I did share that Bank Nifty is making a higher high and RSI was trying to make a lower high. Now this is a classical negative divergence in the RSI. Now there are two things. Before I go ahead with this negative divergence, I think the first thing which will come in your mind is, oh, this is a top. Now Bank Nifty will come down. Where is the next support? ये सब thoughts आने लगेंगे. But we should wait, we should understand. See, first of all, the thing is we are in a bull run. We are in a bull market. Many times it can happen that there will be negative divergences and they will be taken for a toss and market will again go above this level and this negative divergence will cease existing. यानी कि negative divergence का उतना कुछ importance रहेगा नहीं. So what I'm trying to say over here is we should be mindful. We should not have just one particular view. We should understand very, very carefully that yes, this is a negative divergence, a classical negative divergence. For this to work, for the market to come down, the first thing what should happen is this is the low of Friday. If market starts to trade below this day's low of the Friday's low, then chances will increase that markets are going to come down. Now the first support in the weekly time frame chart, I think, is as per Fibonacci retracement, it is somewhere over here, which is that level. The level is 55,332, which is far from here. Okay, it's pretty much far from here. But in the daily chart, there are multiple supports. Now the first important support is at 56,376, 60, now 56,105. Sorry. So basically what we need to see is if the market is coming down, how far the market is ready to correct. Is it going to crash or is it just going to correct? Because see, this is the previous low in the daily time frame chart of Bank Nifty. Even if we correct till this zone, even if we do, I'm not saying we will, but even if we do correct till 56,100 or even 55,726, understand one thing, the trend in the daily time frame chart will probably turn on the downside, but the trend in the weekly time frame chart will remain still up and we will come near supports over here. Now what does this mean? Does this mean that we should go long from here? The answer is no. I don't think so. This is a very good time for short-term traders, swing traders to look for longs in Bank Nifty right now. We should wait. We should see what is the price action happening for the next few days. If the price is correcting, let it correct. Let the dust settle. Also see how far the price is ready to correct, and once the correction comes to an end, then we should take a call on Bank Nifty that where is the entire banking sector going. All right. Now let's have a look at the private banking pack. Private banking pack, I think it is a bit stronger than PSU banking space. Why? I'll come to that point. See, PSU private banking space, what has happened is more or less we saw a very good recovery, a V-shaped recovery, I should say, a vertical rally, and suddenly after this vertical rally, we started consolidating. The rally continued, the price continued, but the momentum came down. What is momentum? Momentum is something, the speed with which price goes up. So there was extreme high momentum here, but there was very low momentum over here. So I think what is happening in private banking space is the trend is up, things are fine, but there is lack of momentum and not a very good time for any short-term momentum trader or even a swing trader possibly to take trades, because in this sideways choppy market, it's not going to be easy to make money. So I think waiting is the better option. PSU banking space. Now PSU banking space in terms of momentum has been much better in comparison to the private banking space. If you look especially to the daily time frame chart. Now if you just have a look at the daily time frame chart, what you can see, they have beautiful price swings. These are tradable price swings over here. Okay. Now what has happened here is in this zone, if you remember last week also I told that if the PSU banking space wants to go higher, we need to take out the recent high, which was somewhere at 72.75. Has it happened? The answer is no. You can see exactly from there. वहीं से price नीचे घुमा है. Now, it is not just that it is resistance. There is something more piece of puzzle which we need to understand, that in the PSU banking space, in the weekly time frame chart especially, we are at a zone which has been acting resistance for a pretty long time. Now this is a high in December 2024. So this is a long term or a medium term resistance zone. Plus at this resistance zone, if you convert this chart into a line chart, you can see higher high in price, lower high in RSI. Is this negative divergence very, very strong? I would say it is average. It's not very weak and it's not very strong, but I think we should give a little bit credit to it. But at the same point of time, if this negative divergence would come at a time when the markets are extremely overstretched on the upside, probably it would make more sense. So as I told you in my this current video when I was analyzing Nifty and Bank Nifty, that in bull markets at times negative divergence can be taken for a toss. Although 1 minute, also see the candles which have been made over here. Here we have an inverted hammer and a big red candle. So again, these candlesticks are not very, very bullish. They are bearish in nature. So once again, if we start trading below the Friday's low, which is again a doji, a long-legged doji, you can say something like that in the daily time frame chart of PSU banking space. If we start trading below this and if we correct on the downside, then possibly the next support will be this recent low. So as a trader, according to me, as a short-term trader, I would wait for a few days rather than jumping in to buy PSU banking space on a dip in an entire bull run. I would wait out, see what happens in the next week and only then take a call. If this price dips, is it going to break this zone or will it stop here? Because this is a pretty strong support. Why this is a pretty strong support? This is a recent low and these are two recent highs. So this is a very, very strong support band. So I think we need to wait and watch and see what happens in the next week. We don't need to hastily take trading decisions. All right. Fine. Energy pack. Energy pack, I would say that the weekly time frame, the monthly time frame chart is trying to improve. The trend is up, but there is no momentum as such, especially in the RSI over here and even in the price in the monthly time frame chart. In the weekly time frame chart, you can see that there has been a decent consolidation, then a breakout, but after the breakout, we could not make a higher high. And we are, again, the price is still within the previous low. So I think we are sideways and consolidating. Frustrating times, I would say, for traders, short-term momentum traders, or even swing traders. These are frustrating times. I can completely understand because see, my friends, if the trend is up and if you are buying the pullbacks or the throwbacks, then we need to understand one thing, that without momentum, it's not going to be easy, because as soon as this initial movement came over here, I would just like to highlight this, the first movement, the second movement. After the second movement, I think the momentum has been lost. Higher highs, higher lows were continuing till this point, but after this, I think there is even further lack of momentum going ahead. Okay, so I think not a very good time for directional traders. The better time is to wait out. Auto pack, one of the strongest sectors, I would say. The monthly time frame chart is trying to improve itself. The weekly time frame chart did try to improve. Just if you remember, I had clearly shared that we need to surpass this high of the weekly time frame chart, which has not yet happened. It is very, very surprising why this sector has not been able to do, because the sectorial charts are looking pretty bullish, especially in the weekly time frame chart, but somehow it has not worked out and this high was not taken out. If this high would have taken out, then the possibility, then the probability of the momentum continuing on the upside would be much higher. So I think again, this is wait and watch, that are we in a consolidation zone or something else. We need to wait out, because the momentum in the weekly time frame chart is fine. The consolidation is there, but the momentum from here to this place is fine. But the daily time frame chart seems to be little bit of a concern because it has came down and now there is a little bit slowdown in the daily time frame charts. So I think we should wait and watch what happens next week. Consumption pack at a support, any bounce back from here somewhere. If we try to even plot a Fibonacci here for the sake of finding a support, then you will understand that we are close to that 50% retracement. So any bounce back from here possibly could give you a days or a 2 days bounce max, not more than that, because the overall you can say the psychology of the markets are not extremely bullish, especially by seeing the sell-off in the last two trading sessions. Finance pack. Now here you need to pay attention. Finance pack was the first sector, I believe, along with banking space, which started the bull rally since April. Okay, it was the first of the sectors. Now, if you see that after the initial momentum, I'll just try to zoom in this chart. If you see after the first initial momentum here, we saw a dip and then the second momentum. So after this momentum, generally overall the rally has continued. It has been able to maintain higher highs, higher lows. All that is fine, but it surely does lack momentum. We are going sideways. This is the first thing. Okay. Now, what is the second thing? Second thing, if you check in the weekly time frame chart, the trend is up. Last week's candle has been a big red candle, although it did not, it was not able to close almost near the open of the last week's candle, which was a good thing, or else by till now we would have been much lower. But what has happened is this week also we have a inverted doji or a shooting star. Now this is not a good sign. Now along with this thing, if you convert this chart and watch carefully, we do have a classical negative divergence. We can see a higher high in price in the weekly time frame chart and lower high in the RSI in the relationship between the price and the RSI basically. So this is a sign that the momentum is waning on the downside and one needs to be a little bit careful. The trend is surely up in the weekly time frame chart, but I would not be surprised that if we start trading below the previous week's low, the last week's low, then some sort of profit booking could be visible in the private banking space. One should be a little bit more careful, wait out. If you're holding long positions, it will be probably better to trail your stop losses or do something about it. FMCG pack. Okay, now we can see some momentum over here in the short term. All right. So in the monthly time frame chart, things are trying to improve, I should say, but still this is not very, very impressive. We have tried to go up, but as soon as two candles go up, you can see the next two candles are down. Although they are not a very big red candle, but they are not very, very impressive too. In the weekly time frame chart, suddenly we can see a turnaround. Okay, this is a turnaround. If you check the displacement of the moving averages, it is still negative. It is not at all positive. The displacement of moving averages is not positive at all. Now, it has been able to surpass this particular resistance, which was this one somewhere over here. But now the next resistance is in this zone. Now, if you want to check it once more with proper accuracy, then probably you can add a Fibonacci retracement and you will be able to find out very clearly that this retracement, this resistance zone is close to a 61.80% Fibonacci retracement. If you want to make it even more cleaner, then I would say, okay, this is the one. So this is the 61.80% Fibonacci retracement and the level is 56,600. So what we need to understand is this is a pullback. This was the first pullback. This was the first pullback over here. This is okay. This is a throwback, and this is the second pullback. The second pullback is larger than the first one. That is what I can understand. The momentum is also higher, but from here on, we need to watch what happens. If we start slipping below on the downside, understand one thing. If we start slipping below on the downside, then I think it can be problematic for FMCG pack. Now there is one more thing. This is the first scenario which can happen. Second scenario is seeing that there is a heavy resistance. What if the FMCG pack, rather than just falling violently with high momentum on the downside, it just decides to correct a little bit, consolidate, and then move higher? If that happens, then the short-term momentum rally will start on the upside. So there are two chances over here. As a trader, we need to understand that we cannot have one view for an index or a stock at times. We need to understand that markets can change with time. So again, I will repeat that the first thing is, if we start moving with high momentum on the downside and we see a breakdown, then obviously the view will become bearish. But in case if we drop below and if we can see a little bit of consolidation, then if we start moving up, then things can improve. So I think only time will be able to tell. So next week is going to be very, very important for the FMCG pack. CNX Infra. CNX Infra, I think a very, very strong sector, especially in the monthly time frame charts. The trend, the momentum is excellent. Momentum trend too good in the daily time, weekly time frame chart. Even in the daily time frame chart, things are better, but the momentum is slightly slipping. I think the next zone of support seems to be somewhere over here between 9,200 and 9140. So I think as a trader, we need to just wait out and watch what happens. IT pack. Now IT pack, suddenly we can see a sell-off. I think some goosebumps have come due to the result season which is going on right now. So if you see again, if I convert this chart, the weekly time frame chart, into a line chart, the displacement of moving averages was still negative. It was not positive. Okay. And what has happened over here is that we have a big red candle. Now for this to turn into a bearish chart, we need to understand one thing. The momentum has already started on the downside. The next important support is somewhere here, 37,336. Now this support is not very, very strong. All right. After that, this is the recent low. So if the sector wants to stay positive, it needs to understand and remain above this level. If it breaks this level, then as per Dow theory, what will happen is this is the high. Then we have this particular high, which is higher than the previous one. This is a low. Currently, this is a low. If we make low, which is lower than this one, then as per Dow theory, officially we could start a downtrend in the daily time frame chart of the IT pack. Metals. Now metals, again, the trend, momentum, things are strong in the monthly time frame chart. In the weekly time frame charts, things could be better because there are a lot of positive candles here, but somehow things did not work out. If you just see one particular thing over here and pay attention, see, now this is the first low, this is the second high. I'll just give numbers 1, 2 and 3. Then we make a higher high, or you can say this is 3, all right, this is 3 and this is 4. So first we have 1, then a high at 2, then a low at 3, then a high at 4. Things were going fine, and suddenly bang, we make a new low, and suddenly we make a higher high. So see, clean momentum only comes in when Dow theory is followed properly and price keeps going up with a fast velocity on the upside. Otherwise, momentum cannot be sustained. So I think things were improving, especially in this particular trend, the short-term trend from which started from 20th June or 19th June, you can say, which was bottom out. But things are, you can say, slightly a bit different. You will see some sort of trend line resistance over here, and you will also see supports coming up in this zone. So this is nothing else but a widening formation. So generally widening formations are very difficult to trade according to me, according to classical technical analysis, and it's very volatile. So overall view still stays bullish, cautiously bullish in the metal pack, but to trade this particular sector, it's not going to be easy. So be watchful when you initiate any stocks, initiate any new trades in this particular sector. Pharma. Pharma has been, I think, the joker over here right now. And why I'm calling it the joker, I'll tell you. Because momentum wise in the monthly time frame chart, nothing great is happening. You can see RSI is flat. It has remained on the sidelines for many weeks right now. So many failure of breakouts has happened in the daily time frame chart. If you just see properly, so many times the breakouts have failed. You can see first move, second, again making a lower low, making a higher low, then giving a breakout at this particular point. Again over here you can see 1, 2, 3. Makes a lower high, then makes a higher low, then makes again a higher high. So from this point onwards, things have started improving. We have maintained the higher high status quo. We have maintained a higher low. Now we are close to that resistance. Now it will be very interesting what happens here. Chances are that we will be able to move above this high. If we move above this high, things will improve. But you will need to be careful because the stock selection in this particular sector is not going to be easy because the main majority weightage stock is not performing. That is the main problem. So when you pick stocks in this sector, be a little bit careful. PSE sector. PSE sector, I think the momentum and the trend is up in the weekly time frame charts over here. The trend is up, momentum is flattish. In the monthly time frame chart, the trend is up and the momentum is flattish. Why? Because the RSI is completely on the sideways, no momentum over here. Weekly time frame chart are okay, relatively okay. Daily time frame chart, I think there is a slowdown due to the overall sentiment of the market right now. It's not very weak, but main thing is that it has not been able to surpass this level for the price to continue its trend and momentum on the upside. So I think it is waiting out, and price wants to see what happens in the major important indices, and only then I think this particular sectoral indices will be able to do something. Because at times I have seen what happens is that the impact of important bigger sectoral indices do have मतलब उसका असर दूसरे sectoral indices पे भी होता है psychologically. So I think as of now we should not take a call, should wait out for the next week, see what happens. Price is not looking negative, it is basically more bullish only, but there should be enough momentum in this market to make money. Because even in PSE sector, if you check properly, what has happened is momentum was there here, 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 and suddenly after this particular move, which probably was in the end, in the starting of the June, sorry, after this the momentum has died out completely. So making money in this zone is very, very difficult. This is not a very good time for directional traders. So I think we need to wait out. It's better to be late rather than to jump in a trade which is not working out. So let's wait out. Trend momentum seems to be fine in the higher time frame charts, but in the lower time frame charts where we are trying to initiate the trades in the daily, the 1 hourly or the 2 hourly charts, we need some momentum. So let's wait out. A Realty pack. Now Realty pack, what we need to understand is by looking at the monthly time frame chart, you will see that price has moved up, trend momentum improving. The weekly time frame chart has taken a dip, and I guess if you are a consistent viewer of my channel, I was very, very clear on Realty pack in the next many weeks that it needs to correct and consolidate from almost the level of 1037, and from there we can see it as down to 950s, 960s. So now we are back at a support and we are consolidating. We are in last 4-5 days in a range. So I think a bigger bullish candle in the lower time frame charts like the hourly or especially the 2 hourly charts will improve the overall sentiment of this sector, and probably we could see some upsides in the real estate back. Mid caps. Mid caps, if you check properly, that trend momentum seems to be extremely positive in the monthly time frame chart, somewhere over here. Okay, RSI is also fine. In the weekly time frame charts, what we need to understand is that we do have a higher high in price, lower high in RSI, and if you want to cross check it, always convert the price to the line chart. See this. Now you can see higher high and lower high. So this is a sign that the momentum is getting weaker on the downside, and also this is a small resistance in the mid cap sector. You can see this is the previous high, and again we are at the same level. So I should say that if we start trading below the previous week's low, things could go little bit more bearish in short term, not in medium term, in short term. The important supports in the daily time frame chart, if you say in the medium term time frame charts, I think it will be somewhere around at 56,820, somewhere over there. But in the shorter term time frame charts, things will be different. We'll have to actually retrace the recent short term uptrend. So here we are. So the next important support will be in the zone of 58, 141, 50. Okay. So I think after doing this entire sectoral analysis, what we need to understand is, except I should say the banking, finance, and one more sector which was mid-cap sector, we need to understand that these three sectors, especially the finance part, the banking space, okay, a little bit in PSU Banks, there are little bit signs of worry. Try to understand what I'm saying. There are signs of worry, no doubt. But again, in a bull run, many times it happens that the negative divergence can go for a toss. So rather than taking a very actionable call suddenly that, okay, it's bearish and probably we need to empty our holdings and everything, rather than that happening, give time to the market, let the market tell you that, yes, this negative divergence is important and I'm ready to go down. If that happens, then you should start acting on your trading stop losses. It's very, very clear. If it consolidates, if it doesn't go down, and if it surpasses the previous couple of weeks high, then probably the game is on, and the weekly negative divergences which have appeared in few sectors can go for a toss. So I think it's a mixed bag analysis in this week. There are few sectors which are trying to improve, like real estate and few others, and there are few which are trying to possibly consolidate the gains which have happened since early April. All right. So not a very good time to initiate way too many trades. It's a good time to wait out and first of all understand what's happening in the market and then take a call. All right. Trade less, trade wisely. Thank you.